We haven't seen so much of the chief medical officers lately, have we? With many people still living in fear and paranoia that was created by the premiers and chief medical officers over recent years, with help from the health bureaucracies, of course. Most of the politicians have belatedly realised it might be better if they look like they're in charge, and they tried to dial down the fear a bit in favour of getting on with life. In fact, there's been a bit of a controversy in recent weeks about Victoria's medical chief, Brett Sutton, being put in the deep freeze. Here's Premier Daniel Andrews early last week.
I'm not his press secretary, Dennis. He's perfectly capable of answering your questions and playing his role. He's got quite a bit on, and talking to the media is a critically important part of his role, but it's not the only part of his role.
And then, miraculously, a few days later, up he popped.
Do you feel as though you've been silenced by the government recently?
No, here I am. And look, I'm always active on Twitter. I'm very happy to speak to public health issues of any kind. And I'm here today to answer any questions that you have.
I'll give you the strong word. If someone starts off their sentence by saying that they're always active on Twitter, stop listening. Now, you only have to listen to the ABC to know there are still lots of people peddling fear and paranoia. I heard them this morning talking about 90% vaccination rates for fourth doses and a third wave. They don't ever want the sense of crisis to end. And you only have to walk in the park and see the odd person wearing a mask in the sunshine or listen to talk radio to find there are plenty of people still living in fear. In federal parliament, the paranoia is very partisan. The Labor MPs, in fact politicians belonging to the green and teal shades of left as well, they all seem to love a mask. It's a badge of honour, I think, a badge of moral superiority, maybe a badge of utter confidence in government intervention and authoritarian bullying.
Can the Minister please explain how he proposes to manage the oncoming national significant burden of disability and chronic illness? Put your masks on. From repeated infection.
Order.
From repeated infection with COVID-19.
Put your masks on. My God. Oh, well, the people of Kooyong wanted her as their teal member. She won't have any influence on policies or politics, but she's lecturing people to put their masks on. Unbelievable. Thankfully, there are a few voices of sanity, like South Australian Liberal Senator Alex Antic last week.
Does COVID still look like an emergency to you? Would anyone still be afraid if not for the incessant propaganda of the corporate media cabal and our bureaucratic class? The greatest emergency I see is a lack of strength.
He's right. We've seldom seen media and politics work in tandem like this to foster fear. They do it for COVID, and they do it for climate alarmism. And in both cases, they're eager to announce emergencies.
Australians need to be aware that whether through apathy or by design, we are allowing our liberty to be sacrificed at the altar of safety. The weapon is fear. The remedy is the emergency declaration.
Yep, endless emergency declarations. They fix nothing, but they work for the politicians and create drama for media as well. Incredibly, while most states still operate under COVID emergency laws, in Antic's home state, the first state to axe the emergency powers, their chief health officer has stepped up again. Remember her?
We're looking at the ball because sometimes the ball, not that I've been to many football games, I have noticed occasionally it does get kicked into the crowd, and we are working through the details of what that will mean. If you are at Adelaide Oval and the ball comes towards you, my advice to you is to duck and just do not touch that ball.
She's back. Yep, Nicola Spurrier is back. Not doing much media. The Premier doesn't seem to be listening to her anymore. The state COVID rules haven't changed in South Australia, but the University of South Australia took advice from Spurrier, and now they've imposed a mask mandate across their campuses, and they're telling students to shift back to online learning. And presumably footies will be banned too. Please make it stop.